The major news that happened this week was that NXT is now home on the CW network. There is now internal belief with the move within WWE that when NXT moves to the CW, that the ratings will be far better than AEW Dynamite on Wednesday night. I got all that juicy scoop right here on OTS. Also, Logan Paul retires from the world of boxing. What does this mean for his WWE career? And Triple H internally, there is belief that he feels he has CM Punk in his back pocket whenever he needs a major name. What does that mean for the rumored return of CM Punk to WWE? All this plus so much more right here on OTS. We will start with AEW and NXT. Now, as you guys know, I don't need to talk too much about it. Tuesday Night Battle, NXT won it, AEW did not, and both shows were really praised by the IWC, and both shows were great for the wrestling fans. Now, NXT went about it a little bit differently. They came off a little desperate. Sorry, man, battling a cold. A little desperate. And AEW, you know, they put on a great show, and they had great in-ring action. Whichever show you liked, up to you, up to interpretation. Both shows were great for each other's audience. Fine. Now with the move to CW, NXT signed a 5-year deal with the CW network in the range of rumored $25 to $30 million. And now it is being reported by House of Wrestling in an exclusive. This is Nick Hausman. He is told by a WWE source internally, the belief is that NXT viewership will consistently outdraw AEW Dynamite next year, especially when they move to the CW network. The belief is based on the idea that the CW is a quote-unquote younger broadcast TV channel instead of an aging cable channel, and will help attract a younger and more influential audience. This is on top of the constantly high-quality content they are putting out and Paul Levesque's renewed push to integrate NXT with other major WWE brands. It was also relayed to House of Wrestling. Generally, there appears to be a belief that the AEW product is cold, even with all the big-name stars that they brought in from WWE, like Bryan Danielson and Adam Copeland. It was pointed out that AEW live ticket sales have dwindled over the last few years. While they were able to sell more than 80,000 tickets for their big All-In show in the United Kingdom, they have not shown consistent sales for the rest of their shows. I'll get to that in a second. Regarding WWE and NXT hitting the road, it does not sound like anything is starting imminently. There is major interest across the board within WWE to make NXT feel bigger, but not at the expense of overexposing the brand. As it stands, NXT is presenting very good shows that are growing their audience, but WWE wants to make sure not to leap into taking the show on the road before demand is too strong enough to do so. Fiscally, it just makes more sense to keep doing what they are doing now. First of all, you know, let's start here with the consistently will outdraw AEW Dynamite next year. Now, I don't know how you guys feel about the CW. I can't remember ever watching anything on the CW because it's not my demographic. But the last show that I watched, and I didn't watch it religiously. I tuned in because everybody was talking about it. It was a time and it was a scene back in the day. The only show I ever tuned in on the CW to watch was Dawson's Creek. How long ago was that? Now, if you gauge CW's shows and the demographic that they're going for, how many of those people are going to be transformed into pro wrestling fans? I mean, it's a crapshoot. It's going to be up to how WWE books their show. Now, the ratings on night one for the debut episode on CW, they're going to be up there. It's going to be 900,000. It may even reach 1 million because people are going to be genuinely curious. Hey, what's this? Hey, NXT's got a younger brand that's more geared towards us. Hey, what are they going to do? What type of surprise are they going to have? Or surprises are they going to have? What type of talent are they going to have? What type of matchups are they going to have? Is there going to be a new look, a new theme, new this, new that? It's almost like you're starting brand new. You got a fresh coat of paint on there. People are going to be interested to see what WWE does with this new home on the CW for the first episode. Fine. They'll be in the millions, right? 900 to 1 million, my prediction. After that, episode 2, episode 3, episode 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you're going to see them normalize back to where they are now. In fact, they may even be worse than where they are now. CW. I don't know what WWE is expecting with the move to CW. You think you're going to get all those people who are watching fucking all this woke garbage on the CW and all these high school drama-ridden bullshit shows on the CW? You think you're going to transform those fans into pro wrestling fans? I don't know if WWE realizes this, but they are in the world of pro wrestling. WWE is a pro wrestling program. You can hide behind whatever the fuck you want, sports entertainment and all this other bullshit. At the end of the day, at the heart of the matter, you are a pro wrestling show, and pro wrestling is looked down upon by that demographic. You know, there's only a small chunk of people who are interested in pro wrestling, and pro wrestling fans normally are looked down upon. Pro wrestling is not a attractive business, and you're not going to get the fucking people who are watching all this childhood fucking drama on the CW or overnight transformed into a pro wrestling fan. Those people are actually going to make fun of pro wrestling. Now, I feel that way. You may feel differently. We'll see. But yeah, episode 1's going to do great. And episode 1's going to outdraw AEW Dynamite on that given week. And then the IWC is going to celebrate AEW's demise. And then week 2, 3, 4, 5, so on and so forth, they're normalized back to where they are now in the 680s to 700s. I don't really see this as, you know, being a younger broadcast TV channel, meaning more ratings. No, I don't see it that way. Now, the AEW product being cold, no shit, Sherlock. Would you like a cookie for your, oh my God, unbelievable observation? Thank you. Thank you for telling me what we already know. You don't think Tony Khan knows that? You don't think Tony Khan knows that, where he had to go on live television to make a major announcement and announce that a show that's happening, I don't know, 11 months from now? Tickets are going on sale in December, so you could get your Christmas gifts early, man. If you need that great Christmas gift for that fucking wrestling pro, that wrestling fan in your family, there you go, man. Tickets to All In are going to be on sale early to the general public. You don't think he knows his product is cold? You don't think the fans know that their product is cold? But that doesn't mean they're dead. That doesn't mean they're dead at all. In fact, Full Gear is near sold out in Los Angeles. I'm sorry, it doesn't sound like a cold brand to me. We got World's End happening on Long Island. Yeah, it's New York, but it's, you know, on the outskirts of New York City, Long Island. They're going to have World's End at Nassau Coliseum. Show's almost sold out. So, I mean, how cold are they? Yeah, Dynamite may be cold, and Collision may be cold, and all this other shit may be cold. Ring of Honor may be dead, but that doesn't mean AEW is going to die. They're not going anywhere. They're going to be around a very, very long time. You know, and AEW's got other factors as to why they're not filling arenas. They're running arenas that are way too big for their fucking show. They think that they're bigger than they are. Tickets are way overpriced. I mean, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're giving away 2 for 1 when they realize that, hey, we didn't sell enough tickets to this show. Let's give family fucking packages away, 2 for 1, 3 for 1, whatever the fuck you want to do. Then they lower the ticket prices, you know, to normalize the way the tickets are sold, normal levels, and then tickets are sold in the last minute and they got a bunch of walk-ups. You know, I don't know what the fuck they're doing with how they're distributing and how they're selling and how they're promoting their shows in the markets that they're in. But yeah, they got a fucking problem. I don't know what's going on there. Something seems to be off. But yes, at the end of the day, the shows, are very hot and cold. One week it's great. The next week it's like, what the fuck did I watch? Why is there so much bullshit? And why am I questioning so much on the show when, I don't know, a couple of years ago, I wasn't really questioning much of anything and they were doing what they needed to do. But that doesn't mean NXT is going to be beating AEW in the ratings. Now, I laugh every time I read, NXT hitting the road. I don't really understand why we need to take NXT away from what they're doing now. The tour circuit around Florida is what they need to do. The most important thing about NXT being on the road is getting everybody on that roster in-ring reps, because the ones that are not ready for TV, that is where it's going to come and be most beneficial to those people. Taking the show on the road and making the Florida circuit happen. That's what I feel is the most important thing. But there is major interest across the board within WWE to make NXT feel bigger. All right, you're moving to the CW. And before this 2.0 bullshit, NXT was bigger. If you really want it to be bigger, then in my honest opinion, you need to go back to doing what you were doing before. Why did it feel so bigger then? It felt on par with the main roster, right? They were doing everything that they needed to do to be equal to the main roster. Triple H said it then, when Black and Gold was at the top of its game and producing the best content in the world of pro wrestling. He said it then. We are not a developmental brand. We are the third brand of WWE. They didn't like hearing that on the main roster. Vince didn't like hearing it. Bruce didn't like hearing it. Laurinaitis didn't like hearing it, because Triple H was doing what he needed to do, and he was producing better content than those three fucking geeks ever were on the main roster. That's just cold, hard fact. Then they proceeded to kill what he did because it wasn't going along with what they thought the WWE should look like. Then we got whatever 2.0 is, and then we got another rebranding because they changed the logo, and now we are where we are right now, where it's this mixture of old Black and Gold and 2.0 and whatever fucking runs through the crazy mind of Shawn Michaels down there, as he seemingly feels like he has free reign to do whatever he wants. The program is still not worth my time watching on a weekly basis. You got great in-ring action. Some of the roster down there I adore. Some of the roster down there I love. The great in-ring work is obviously shown from Carmelo Hayes and Dijak and Ilya Dragunov and Braun Breaker and Wes Lee, Frazier, guys like that, Tyler Bate. There is great in-ring work down there. But then you got some of the fucking cheesy dialogue and the shit stories and the comedic characters that are down there. And it's like, what the fuck are we doing, man? If you want to make NXT bigger, why don't you just go back to doing what you did when Triple H was in charge? Because they were filling out arenas that WWE main roster were in. Why? Because the show was great. The show was cool. The show was absolutely must-see with the stories that they were telling and the characters that they were developing. Everything felt important. It is not that difficult to get NXT back to feeling bigger. I feel like it's just a fucking excuse because they want to cover up the fucking mistake that they made by killing it in the fucking first place. That's why I'm not on board with what they're doing. Because they did something that they shouldn't have done, and they killed it when they didn't need to. Only to restart again, and the pandemic killed NXT. The pandemic killed a lot of shit. I'm not using that as a fucking excuse. And WWE is hiring independent talent. They're bringing people in from AEW. They're bringing people in from the indies now. How many people from the Performance Center are you actually seeing on WWE television? And how many people from the Performance Center are you going to see on television in the next 6, 12, 18 months? WWE is going to replenish through the indies. WWE is going to replenish by signing people away from AEW when their contracts are up. So what's the difference between what Triple H did and now what you're starting to do here again with NXT? And the ratings, I don't really think WWE understands this. By the time we get to the CW next September, how many of these people are going to be there still? Braun Breaker could be on the main roster. Tiffany Stratton could be on the main roster. Roxanne Perez could be on the main roster. Cora Jade could be on the main roster. Dragunov could be on the main roster. Dijak could be on the main roster. How many of these people now that you're enjoying watching now are going to be there next September? Take that into account as well. WWE is going to replenish. They're not going to pull everybody because they don't want to kill the fucking brand, but they're going to replenish what they need to on the main roster with talent like that is more than ready now to be called up and should be on the main roster now. I find it laughable that they feel like they're going to beat AEW. What happened to SmackDown? What happened to SmackDown when they moved to Fox? Fox and their CEO said, well, we expected 4 ratings weekly by moving to Fox, WWE moving to Fox. And WWE felt like they could do the 4s as well, being on, network TV. And what happened? They were in the 1.5s to 1.8s for how long? And then Triple H took over. Then we started to see the Bloodline story take over. Then we were getting into the 2.4s and 2.5s, but it needed to be story for the fans to tune in. If that's a gauge on what the fans want, I don't know. I don't know what else to tell you. I really don't. They're not going to get what they expect to get because they expected to get something on Fox and they didn't. Now they're going to the CW, who's also network television, and they expect to get bigger ratings than Dynamite? I don't think it's going to work out that way. It's all what you put on television. If you create good television, people will watch. I don't expect NXT to put on consistently good television because they haven't done that since they killed Black and Gold. Logan Paul. Logan Paul retires from boxing to become full-time in WWE. In an interview with Fox Business, Logan Paul was asked whether his big WWE title win means that he is done as a boxer. He says this, and I quote, "Yeah, I think I've retired from boxing. I think I've done enough in this sport, going fully undefeated at 25-0. So yeah, I'm going to be a wrestler now." End quote. Logan Paul was then pressed about the money to be made in boxing compared to his new career in WWE. He says, "There's no more money in boxing." And he laughs. "Every company is going broke. So full-time wrestler. As it stands, I beat Rey Mysterio fair and square for the United States Championship. It was great." Sure thing. Of course, Logan Paul's comment that he beat Rey Mysterio fair and square was in character because he did not, being that he cheated to win the United States Championship. And he cheated to beat Ricochet at SummerSlam as well. "It was a dominant performance," he says. "I have to be honest. Yeah, some frog splashes, some punches. It was good. I feel good," says Logan Paul. As the new United States champion, many might expect Logan Paul to be more regular with the WWE. Well, we didn't see him on SmackDown, so he's not really all that regular, especially coming off of a pay-per-view, and he's the new United States champion. We don't know if he's going to be doing anything at Survivor Series. I have pitched something perfect for Logan Paul at Survivor Series if they want to book it in Chicago. That doesn't seem to be the case. However, based on his social media posts, it appears Logan Paul is currently in New York City promoting a big Prime energy drink contest and is nowhere or was nowhere near Columbus, Ohio for SmackDown on Friday. He wasn't advertised for the show either. I call bullshit on Logan Paul being 25-0 and saying that he is retired. I think he says, yeah, I'm 25-0, gonna give it up for now. There's no more money to be made. You mean to tell me that if someone comes out and offers you the massive bag that comes along with who he is, just some unbelievable sum of money, that they offer him to put that undefeated streak on the line against whomever is not going to come out of retirement? I don't believe this for a single second. Logan Paul will be back in boxing when his WWE career is over. And I don't know what they got him doing in WWE where he's going full-time. I'm sure that means just the big 4, big 5 pay-per-views. They're not going to put him on a fucking Fastlane or an Extreme Rules show. I mean, that's just ridiculous. That's not what his contract really calls for. But now that he's the United States champion, he should be at Survivor Series. He should be at the Royal Rumble. He should be at WrestleMania. So, or in Australia, even with that major crowd that's going to be at least 75,000 people in Perth, Australia for the Elimination Chamber. So what really is going to change for Logan Paul? He'll make a TV appearance here to cut a promo, build a match, and then work a major WWE show. So what really is going to change? Nothing. The only thing that's changed is now he's United States champion. He's got a bigger microscope on him, and he needs to be more prevalent on television, being that he's holding the secondary title on SmackDown, and we already have a champion that refuses to show up already as the world champion on Friday. So he's going to need to make more appearances. Otherwise, WWE's roster got nothing to fight for on Friday night. I doubt he's retired. CM Punk. CM Punk has been in the news and will continue to be in the news. By the way, the match, if you guys were expecting me to say something about the match that I booked, I've talked about it with Logan Paul, just backtracking a little bit. Logan Paul and Dominic Mysterio versus Ricochet and Rey Mysterio at Survivor Series. Again, why am I booking Survivor Series better than what the major names running the show are booking for Survivor Series? I don't know. Now, that's obviously in conjunction if they use Judgment Day and Bloodline at the War Games, but, I mean, we don't really know what's going on there. Whatever. Speaking of Survivor Series, Punk. He's been in the news. He will continue to be in the news going into Chicago for Survivor Series, which is, 3 weeks away. Triple H supposedly feels he has CM Punk in his back pocket for a WrestleMania return. Now, I don't want to fill you guys in with information you already know. We talked about this, the clues, the fucking troll job from WWE to CM Punk. I think the last thing that I seen was he was doing some MMA commentary with his guys. And one of the commentators that he works with had a pocket sleeve that had one of them little fancy napkins coming out of it with the suit. And had WWE written on it in the pocket. I mean, just shit like that's going to get people talking. Punk wants to get people talking. I'm sure he approved that and okayed it. Whatever the case may be. Then we learned from several different people on social media, the Boozer or BWE. They recently reported as of a week ago that Triple H, or not Triple H, it was Nick Khan. It might have been Triple H. Who the fuck knows? Nick Khan, Vince McMahon. Supposedly, CM Punk was going to meet with WWE members of the board about a return to the company. Speaking of Triple H, CM Punk tried to meet with Triple H late last year in a stunt where he went or tried to go backstage at Monday Night Raw. Triple H wanted to meet with him, but Triple H said, listen, I can't meet with you because the big boss, doesn't want you anywhere near the building. So we may have to reschedule this for a later time. Whatever. CM Punk and WWE, they've been in conjunction even when Punk was back in AEW. But now the rumors are heating up that CM Punk will be back in the WWE, and Survivor Series is in Chicago, and a lot of people are expecting him to show up at the United Center in Chicago. Or what is it? The Allstate Arena, one of these fucking places. Now, Wrestle purists, take it with a grain of salt. They are a copy and paste account. They don't really have any news broken on there. But my guy, Ibu, backup Hangman, is someone that works for Wrestle Purist, and he supposedly has some knowledge of the situation. He was on their YouTube channel, and he was live with the Wrestle Purists on their YouTube channel, and he revealed that CM Punk is actively in training in case he gets the call from WWE, as he is keen on the move and feels that anything can happen at any time in the wrestling industry. From this, he said that the company themselves feel as if they have CM Punk in their back pocket when it comes to bringing him in. Now, specifically talking about BWE's report of meeting between CM Punk and WWE, Ibu said, once again, those claims, take it with a grain of salt, saying that if CM Punk was to ever have any contact with the company, he would speak to Nick Khan directly, rather than Triple H, Vince McMahon, or anyone else. Nick Khan is a member of the board. He's right under Vince McMahon. So I guess that kind of goes in line with what BWE said, but I don't really, hold BWE's report to a high standard. Now, also, as many fans noticed, WWE have been actively teasing CM Punk's return on their weekly television, with several wrestlers hitting go to sleep, or a line from Corey Graves on commentary, from Michael Cole, from Seth Rollins. To provide Punk's opinion on this, Ibu of Wrestling Purist revealed that CM Punk said, "Why? And I don't get it," in response to these references made on WWE TV. He closed off by reminding fans how WWE usually handle their returns. In some cases, the company choose to inform the media of any impending surprises, while other times see them completely no-sell the references, and things are subject to change. It's believed that Fightful were told that Punk would not be at Survivor Series to handle expectations and minimize the chances of a hungry Chicago crowd hijacking the show. Ibu also discussed how CM Punk has a lot of options open to him in 2024. Not really. It's WWE or nowhere, including WWE, who are offering him a no for now rather than a rejection of a return. Should he make a comeback in the near future, it's said there's a chance he could be brought back for WrestleMania season if one of Triple H's top stars is in need of a big match. The presumption from many, including Punk's side, is that WWE is keeping him as a possible back pocket ace up the sleeve to use for WrestleMania season if a guy needs a big match and has no creative direction. You know, we want to talk about CM Punk and him going back as something that he's going to need to live with for the rest of his life. After what he said about that company, to go back there and erase everything he said for the last 8 years, that's something that he will never be able to take back again. He will lose many people's respect, and he will lose a large portion of his fan base. I don't know if he could cope with that. Maybe he will. With the bag that they're going to pay him, maybe that's something that he's willingly going to give up. If that's the case, from what I'm reading here, do they have any creative desire to want to bring CM Punk into the company and use him to make their television for a long stretch better? Because from what I'm reading, looks like WWE only want to use CM Punk to get what they want out of CM Punk, and that's it. And they don't really feel like CM Punk is going to add anything to their television, and they want to use him for a one-off for WrestleMania when someone needs a big match or has no creative direction. Is that worth giving up 8 years of what you said about this company? Is that worth 8 years and losing the respect of many around the world, and you laying your head down to sleep at night thinking about the possibilities of giving back everything that you've said? Is that worth it? For a guy who needs a big match for WrestleMania, to get on WrestleMania. And because no one has creative direction, let's get him on WrestleMania. Don't you want to go back there to make a difference? Don't you want to go back to WWE to make their show better, to make the roster better, to make you better, to use your creativity to make everything better? That's what you wanted to do with AEW, right? Why would you go back there in this case when they just want to use you for what they want to use you for, and then you get no satisfaction and gratification out of it for your own? Sounds like a terrible move to me. Now, again, this could all be bullshit. Triple H feeling like CM Punk is his ace in his sleeve or ace in his pocket when he wants to use him. This could all be bullshit. The man could be signed, sealed, and delivered, and discussions could have already happened, and they might be debuting him at one of these shows, and they just don't want you to know it. Why the fuck would they want you to know it? I would not book him at Survivor Series. There's no need for him. There's no need for him. If Randy Orton's going to be back, why are we debuting CM Punk back in the WWE at Survivor Series when Randy Orton, who is their boy, who's been gone a year and a half, who deserves all the spotlight for himself because he's a major name, bigger than Punk? Why would they do that on the same show? And it's like busting your load twice when you don't have to. Why? Save it, relish it, enjoy it, have something as a backup. I don't get it. I've said it once, I'll say it again. Royal Rumble is the spot. Royal Rumble is the spot. At that point, you could then start booking for WrestleMania. What are you going to bring him back to television to do now? There's not much for him to do now. You're tying up the Judgment Day stuff. You're tying up the Bloodline stuff. You're going to get Randy Orton back on television. Let's wait until we start brand new in the new year and then integrate Punk and whatever plans we have for him at the Royal Rumble. But again, take these reports with a grain of salt. I don't like the way that this read. I don't like what Ibu said, even though he might have gotten this from a credible source or someone close to the situation. I don't like that. An ace in the sleeve when they need him. When they need to pull that card out on the table. Yeah, we got this. But what is that going to do for Punk? Is that going to be satisfying to Punk himself? Doesn't sound like it to me. Is that worth giving up 8 years and taking all that money for that one big WrestleMania match that still isn't the main event? I don't know, man. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section of this video. Thank you very much for all your support. Hopefully you enjoyed this Sunday upload. I will be back with more content right here on the channel with a brand new week starting Monday with the Monday Night Raw post show right here on OTS. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. Make sure you guys go check out all the other content on the channel. Make sure you guys go sub to my second channel. And please make sure you guys follow me on social media on X, Instagram, and Cameo, along with whatever else is down there, man. I don't know how many social medias I need. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Thank you guys very much for all your support. Hit that thumbs up on the way out. Let's try for 1,000 likes. Leave me a comment down below. It greatly helps out the video. I don't give a fuck what you put down there. Give me your favorite emoji down there, man. Tell me what you really think of the show. Thank you guys very much. I'll see you right back here tomorrow night live after Monday Night Raw with the post show right here on OTS. I'll see you guys later.